Last week in the Powerade Truck Series, we saw a barn burner finish and race at Charlotte Motor Speedway, which saw Juan Garcia, the Season 1 Truck Champion, get his 4th win in the Truck Series. Here today we start, I guess can say, the Northeast Swing. Here are 3 totally different racetracks in a row, and today is the first of 2 road course races on the season. It is race 3 of the Powerade Truck Series, and it is the SiriusXM 175 at the Glen. What's up everyone, it's Boyans Race 97, aka Nathan Stapleton here, and welcome to the Powerade Truck Series for race 3 on the season. And this is going to be a fun one, and this is where the real season starts. I know Charlotte was normal, but that ended up not being normal as what we anticipated. But this will be focused on trucks for the rest of the year. No more Krispy Kreme National, no more JBL Cup Series, and all of our focus is on these 32 Truck Series drivers until the end of the year. We gotta see how this race plays out, because it's still very early on. Rains have not played into effect that much, and we gotta see what ends up happening with everyone that we expect to be up front, kind of mixed all over the place. And we got the owner of the 75 of Henderson Motorsports, the Charlie Davenport, up here in the booth. Welcome to Watkins Glen for race 3 on the season.
Yeah, like you said, Nathan, starting the Northeast Swing here in the Powerade Truck Series, and there's no better place to start off here at Watkins Glen. A very interesting track, one of my favorite road courses to see every season. I'm interested to see how these drivers will do here this evening at Watkins Glen, especially with this boot layout. Turns 8 through 9 is going to give some guys some issues at inside wall. You can make a mistake or run a little bit wide, and just overall this track is fun, and it's going to pose a challenge to these drivers. Like you said, the real season starts right here, so we'll see if these guys who qualified up here this afternoon can capitalize on the real season starting now, because a lot of guys in the top half of points did not qualify too well, so this is a great race to take that opportunity and, yeah, take it for granted and see what you can do.
Absolutely, and this is a very chaotic racetrack, and like what Charlie said, we won the boot, we skipped the back stretch chicane, won through the boot, and then of course that final turn, turn 11, is the most trouble spot on the racetrack. Sometimes they go through it clean, sometimes they hit the wall, and sometimes they cause a multi-car, well, I guess in this case multi-truck incident. But we gotta wait and see what ends up happening. 10 laps on tap here tonight at Watkins Glen. Pit stops around lap 6 and lap 8 in that range, 6, 7, or 8. And we gotta see what ends up happening. We're gonna go ahead and get these drivers running off, since it's a really long pace lap here on this 3.4 mile road course with the boot. And here's the early season point standings after just 2 chaotic races at Daytona and Charlotte. Juan Garcia is the point leader by 5 points over Nick Sandio in second. Third is Emily York Watson, -6. Jordan Stout, last year's champion, off to a good start, and 4th, -8. Ben Watson in 5th, -11. Logan Williams, -11. Samet Oscom to Daytona, -11. Roberto Crown Jr., -13. And Nick Lopez, -13 for 8th and 9th. And then shout out to Kyle Susswide with a good start in that number 22 for William. 10th in the point standings, -16 early on. And we gotta see how it all plays out. A lot of drivers start all over the place here in this one. But it is Felicity Mendoza, 28th in the point standings, I believe, on the pole for this one, with William Ayers in second. Anthony Hernandez and Eli Bright in row number 2. Hot Taylor and Speens and Carson Miller in row number 3. Nick Lopez and Matthew Burnett in row number 4. And right at the top 10 will be Josh Winston and the number 33 of Ryan DeWine, looking for some revenge after last week, where he looked like he had the best truck at Charlotte, but was the victim of the big one in that one. Make sure everyone is rolling, and it's like they are. And oh yeah, the 77 had a suspension failure in the simulated qualifying, so he's still in the back of the field here today. Okay, Charlie, this is a interesting little course. 10 laps, short race. Who do you think will win here for the SiriusXM 175?
I'm going to give it to that number 2 of Anthony Hernandez. He's going to be on that inside line going into turn 1, and I think he's going to have a good advantage, especially if he can push that 32 out wide a little bit, or if the 32 just runs wide himself into turn 1, that has an opportunity to take for that number 2. So that's going to be my pick to win here today.
Not a bad pit. Hernandez seems to be having a strong start. Has had some ones up towards the front, but not gotten the finishes. But we gotta see what ends up happening. That outside lane, or I guess in this case the inside lane, the left side lane, kinda has a disadvantage entering turn number 1. Pace truck will dive down onto pit road. 10 laps here today at Watkins Glen. It will be Felicity Mendoza and Ramirez leads to the green, and we are trucking at Watkins Glen for the SiriusXM 175. A clean start through the S's, and like I said, that inside lane, not really where you want to be, and this one is leading us back to the backstretch for the first time today. And Eli Boy had a struggling day at Daytona, was up front, but blew up. Was up front at Charlotte, late, almost won, but got the win stolen from him from Juan Garcia, and all the way to the second place spot. Mendoza in third, Carson Miller, low driver, on the move here in the fourth place spot. Burnett in fifth, and single flying out for now, but some moves are being made away, and these guys gotta be a little bit calm, because that final turn would be chaos corner here today.
Yeah, even in the pre-race when you mentioned the final turn, I almost forgot about it, but that turn honestly is the most hardest turn to even figure out at this track. If you run wide, that can hurt you in a lot of ways. Even I've experienced that facing Matthew Hubert and losing a race that way, but yeah, it's going to be interesting to see how these guys take it as they come around here. We'll see how they do, but William Ayers at number 5 for Ryan Little and Tricon Garage gets the lead off the start, but now the 32, the pole sitter, now trying to look to get a pass back off possibly on this 42.
Oh, and that's why it's talking about William Ayers into the outside wall, and it's going to be the 32. Drop back to third, and they are wrecking behind. They're going to safe it. I believe that was Alfred and Abel. You guys will see that in the corner of the screen.
Somebody stopped on the inside wall, but they keep it going for now. But that's going to shake it up. Everybody keeps it going, actually. So that is impressive there from everybody. Yeah, now that 32 is going to move, but Miller looking like he was going to make a pass there on the 42 for a second. Doesn't quite do it on Bright, but you mentioned it. Bright been up front in a lot of these races, hasn't been quite able to pull it off, but can he do it here this afternoon? And as they make their way down here now, that 32 got off to a slow start, but now they're back up here in first, and we'll see if that damage on the numbers on the left side of that number 5 truck of William Ayers impacts him in this race. But right now, he's running pretty well.
And the bad thing about the damage is, once we have that pit stop, will the pit crew decide to fix the damage? Because it's going to be very strategy based here today. Sometimes they might pit 2 tires, sometimes they might take 4, and depending on how bad the damage is, they might have to try and fix it. So, definitely for William Ayers, and of course definitely for Abel and April Alpha. They kept it straight, it looked like, off that final corner. And here comes Carson Miller making a dive bomb. That's saying the boot almost here for the third place spot, Miller and Eli Bright.
There you go, Miller now trying to get a pass off on this 42 of Bright. Now he's going to be stuck on that outside line. Back behind him, you can see a double foul between that 42 and, not 42, 45, the 42's teammate, and that number 33, but they're still going to keep it going. And now Bright and the 75 Miller. Miller's going to run a little bit wide here, and we'll see how they take this turn. Here comes that number 2 of Hernandez. And the 42 is going to really push the edge in. They're going to be 3 wide nearly on the front stretch. And yes, they will be. Going into turn 1, it's going to be the number 75 on the inside. In the middle is the number 2 on the outside of the 42. And they keep it going for now. Contact.
Hernandez being aggressive early on, and 3 wide at the Glen turn was not something I have my penal colors here tonight. They keep it straight, but now Hernandez had some damage. And the top 2 have broken away. And
right there.
Look at Mendoza.
Yeah, if you're that number 32.
Hugely.
You're that number 32 and 5 of Mendoza. You love to see this racing from these guys behind them because this gives you all the time in the world to drive away. You just can make a mistake if you're this number 32 for Brett Holmes Racing. Leonard Kochmer owning that team, you know, he's probably hoping his driver can hold on now, but there goes that 33, challenging this number 45 once again as we go into this boot section. Oh, it's going to hit the grass a little bit, though. That's not going to help him out too much. And, yeah, that 45 looks like he's going to clear him for a second. But, no, not quite. So keeping the gas, keeping his foot in it. And he's going to hit a huge dive bomb, and he's going to get the pass off. The 33 of Ryan Durrani gets the pass off. And he's looking hungry in this race.
He won some Charlotte revenge after last week. He looked like he had the best truck of looking dunked on by Duncan Wood. And side by side, still between these two. And you know what? These first 3 races have been absolutely fantastic to kick off season 6. And we are not even close to being done. Carlos Miller gonna try and swing out live. It looks like there's a spin.
No, that's not what you want to do there. And he's going to get the pass off, though. No, he's going to... Is he? Oh, I don't know. He gets it off.
A little bit of contact.
For a second.
The 5 and the 2 got into the outside wall. I believe there's a spin in turn 10, in between turn 10 and turn 11. Guys, we'll see everything in the corner of the screen because no cautions here on the workhorses. And what a chaotic start. But you know who's loving this?
Right there.
Mendoza loves of what she sees behind him, but a little bit light at seeing that final S there. And you gotta think about pit stops, man. Do you want to pit lap 6, lap 7, lap 8? Gotta start figuring that out, but great stuff from Mendoza.
Yeah, it's gonna be interesting to see how pit stops impact this race. I'd say right now, you might want to go for the undercut on Mendoza, but even then you have a lot of ground to dig up if it doesn't work, but now the 75 of Miller on the back of this number 5 of Ayers looking for second. We'll see if he tries to make another lunge. We'll make a lunge like the 33 of Durrani last time around, but doesn't quite look like he's... There he goes now, looking to the inside of number 5 of Ayers, going side by side now, coming out of turn 10. Well, coming out of... I think that was turn 10, I don't even know. But coming into this section now, the number 5 going to get a good run on the outside, the 75 on the inside. That 32 up ahead, Mendoza loves to see this now. And Ayers going to fend off this 75 of Miller, it looks like, or no. Trying to get the elbows out, not going to quite work. These two still going at it. And Miller might get the run on the outside here. And he's going to get over the curve there for a second.
And he's going to... Oh, the 5 again! Into
Ayers
that sidewall for the 3rd time in 5 laps.
If you're Ayers' crew chief right now for Tricon Garage, you got to tell him to back it down in that section, making too many mistakes right now, as now he's going to have that 42 of Eli Bright and the number 2 of Anthony Hernandez challenging him here, and that damage does pile up after a while, and getting into the dirt there for a second, but if you're Ayers, this is going to cost you at some point in this race, because especially when it comes on pit road, if they decide to repair it, it's going to take a lot of time. So if you're this number 5, strategy's kind of interesting right now to see what you want to pull off, especially with the damage you have on that side of that truck. But if you're this 32, like I've said a couple times, sound like broken record player, you love to see this right now. As there goes that number 9 for a second, trying to take a peek at that number 45. Doesn't quite get anything done there.
Josh Remsen on the move, former Cup Series champion from last season. And he's having a solid start. He kind of had a top 15 run going until chaos happened at Charlotte. And he's inside the top 10 here today. But no one can close in on Mendoza. But you gotta think about pit stops and pit strategy. Because if 32 does one thing and then say the 75, 5, 2, 42, or even the 33 does something completely different, could easily get back into this thing. Gonna quickly see of what might have happened. Looks like Avery Alfred went down last time by in the 98. The 31 of Caboose is in the back part of the field, same for Matt Oscar and Bradley Weem. So, interesting of how that's going to play out. And we gotta see, will pit stops be open this time by, as we are going to be halfway through already in the SiriusXM 175.
Yeah, it looks like pit stops are going to start here as the 32 is going to lead. Oh, he's going to lead them down pit road. That's going to be another, 42, a Bright in the wall. And that's not going to help him out too much. Everybody else keeps it going, though. But that pit entry is going to be very dangerous there, as you have to back it down before you get to those barrels there. And hopefully nothing happens to anybody here, but never say never, as that 32 and Tricon Garage, Door Sport Truck, the 13, both pushed it very close.
Oh no, Caleb Rose just had
that
a
91.
tire go down.
Oh, Rose, the tire goes down, and that 32 is coming off pit road as well. Oh, Rose might have to stop it here, and he might be done unless he takes it back around. And yeah, that tire is completely gone on that 91 truck.
And unfortunately, he couldn't have that happen 10 seconds earlier and make it down pit road. That's just how it goes sometimes, and I believe the 32 just did a splash and go. Just a 4-second stop, so that's going to be very interesting of how it all plays out. A little bit of contact between the 45 and the 9.
You have to wonder here, with all the battling that was happening behind that 32, everybody else probably was using up their tires, but maybe this 32 is being quite conservative here, and they saved the rubber now, and they can just make it to the end. It was a splash and go stop, like you said, so now you have to wonder what everybody else does if they come down this time. Carson Miller's going to be in a prime position here, but that number 5 and number 2 right behind him, but you have to assume this number 5 is going to be on pit road for an even lengthier time than everybody else, especially with the side of that truck there all dented in.
Yeah, you can just see the twinkle number 5 on the side on that 5 truck, and we gotta see what will everyone else do. Only 2 trucks came in last time by. 75's going to stay out. The 5 again into the outside wall.
Again.
Oh my goodness, and
Bonetta is in. Oh, the 45. Okay. That pit entry is going to have me on my toes the whole race long, as
the
they just get so
77,
close.
99. Sam Dio and Jericho in.
You have to wonder if Carson Miller is going to try to take this to the end.
They shouldn't be able to make it, but something tells me that everyone might just be pushing it as far as they can. Maybe pit this time by lap 7 to lap 8.
Yeah. I'm going to be honest here. This kind of gives me deja vu for my own truck series. Carson Miller, in his first ever start, was leading at Watkins Glen the last final couple of laps, but was not able to make it to the end on fuel. Could we see that here in the Powerade Truck Series here tonight? But I just had to mention that because I'm getting extreme deja vu right now with that number 75 leading of Carson Miller, with how many laps are left and all the strategy possibilities we have right now is a 56 battling with that 02. He's got that 17 right behind him of Logan Williams, and they're all going at it in the back here.
Got Emily York Watson in the 02, Ben Watson in the 56, no relation, and then Logan Williams, who could have, would have, should have won both Cup and National Series titles this year, but Monster happened, and that didn't happen. So we gotta see what ends up happening so far. A good stuff for Logan Williams might be the point leader, depending on how this all shakes out here in this one. But we gotta see. With 3 laps to go this time by, only a handful of trucks that pitted so far, but everyone should not be able to make
might
it.
Be coming down here based off his entry. I mean, based off his exit coming. Just
yeah, here we go.
Yeah.
Watch
Ran
out.
a different type. Oh my lord.
Here we go. Busy pit roll.
Wow,
oh no,
15.
Watson is not able to get down, and he's gonna miss it. And
he
everyone.
Entry.
Oh boy, the 11 and 18 also stay out, but a busy pit roll on that number 8.
This is going to be a very interesting race off of pit road here. Everybody bringing it down. How is this going to play out? And that 15, what an entry there on pit road. You saw him sideways. Oh, Miller hit on pit road, but he's going to come off a splash and go for him. Here comes the 32.
Some splash and go, some 2 tires. Obviously, the 5 has to fix the damage.
No. The 75 is going to beat him off pit road.
Barely.
The 32 get around them, though.
Oh boy, Mendoza and Miller. I think this is going to be the battle for the race win. And then, of course, Abel, Crown Jr., and Watson, they stay out another lap. But it's going to come down to these 2, I think, because they should pit this time by and really just do a quick splash and go. But what a stop and what a overtake from Carson Miller in the number 75.
Miller's got a lot of fuel to burn compared to this 32, and we'll see how this plays out for the finish. It's going to be between these 2 trucks to the end. That number 2 of Anthony Hernandez, you can see him in the background there. I don't think he quite has it. He could catch up here, but we're coming to 2 to go here, It looks like it's going to be between Carson Miller and this number 32 of Felicity Mendoza.
I don't want to jinx it, but I've seen stuff happen before at the Glen in all my years on and on. Regardless of my stuff or not, third place at the Glen is still a good spot to be in. We gotta see what an analyst can do.
It's looking like he's gaining some ground right now, especially. I mean, we saw him in the background there for a second, like a little bit faded off, but right now, he's not too far behind, and I don't even think you bring down the 56, 11, or 18 here. I mean, they are going to do that, but I feel like you just run it till the fuel tank runs dry at that point. But here we go. Miller now going to take a very interesting entry here. That 32, though, it's going to dive it down to the inside.
A clean dive bomb.
For the lead.
What a pass. What a pass from the 32. And looks like, yeah, the 56, 11, and 18 are still on pit road. They are going to get a better finish of what they were going to get. But it's going to be down to these top two. Hernandez, a little bit behind, maybe a second or two. Sam Dio's going to be in fourth, so I stand corrected. I think he's going to leave here as the new point lead here today.
Man, oh man, what a finish this could be here. But that 32 looks like they're getting a little bit of dry weight. But that number 2 as well, Anthony Hernandez, is not too far off in distance, and he's honestly, it looks like he's gaining a little bit of time. I could be mistaken on that, but that number 2 is lurking in the background, and if any shenanigans happen in that final turn, he could be right in the right position to get this race win. But Miller's got to dig for everything now. Can he get to the back of this 32 of Mendoza?
That's exactly what that 2 truck has to be thinking. Push, push, push. If things get chaotic, you still have a chance. And just gonna briefly mention, we got a bunch of single truck teams, 1, 2, 3 here. So very interesting to see. Sam Dio's gonna be in 4th, and Josh Williamson is gonna be in 5th. Logan Williams gonna be in 6th. Santi Messi, Ben Watson, Ron Durrani, all of these guys are hornet's nest towards the back half of the top 10. That's gonna be coming down to the white flag. 3.4 miles to go. Mendoza's been dominant, but has to hold off for one more lap over the 75 of Carson Miller through turn 10 and into turn number 11. It'll be the Powerade one to go. Mendoza's gonna go wide, and both of them go wide. It's the white flag.
Oh, wow.
Here at Watkins Glen.
Coming to the white flag, who will it be? Brett Holmes Racing, or will it be Henderson Motorsports, or will it even be Racing?
Sam Dio can't make it.
Oh no, Nicholas Samadio looks like he's not going to make it to the end of this race. But with 1 to go to 75, trying to catch this number 32, it might all come down to the final turn. This 32 has been perfect all day in that final turn. Hasn't really scraped the wall too much, so we'll see if they can do it one more time.
Felicity Mendoza, 1 truck win to her credit. Made the chase this year in the Krispy Kreme National Series, but has to fend off Carson Miller, who honestly didn't really have a fair opportunity in the National Series this year, but he's trying to make the most of it from 6th to 2nd for now, closing in fast on that 32 machine, entering the boot.
We come in for the final time to the boot. This 32 Mendoza probably mirror watching really hard right now, trying to make sure they don't make any mistake, but this 75's got to push hard as they can. They have the fuel advantage, but you have to wonder if they use too much fuel to this point. It's going to come down to these final couple turns here. I don't know about that 2 anymore, but these 2 are going to still be duking it out here. Miller trying to get to the back of this 32, but doesn't quite look like it's going to happen here. Just the same distance the whole time around, it seems.
Last time we were here for GNS Visits was the Krispy Kreme National Series race, and we saw a full finish at the line. 75 gets a 1 through turn 10, good diamond it. He's going to have a shot. He's going to have to dive bomb. He's going to try and get there. Mendoza's going to go wide off turn number 11. And the 75 is going to almost get there, but it'll be Mendoza. Almost a picture perfect day. And barely hangs on to get the win in the SiriusXM 175.
What a win for that number 32 team and Mendoza. We saw them not get the start they wanted to this race, but they quickly crawled back and got the lead, and they did not look back from there. A lot of battling throughout the field, but this 32 held on all afternoon. So congratulations to Brett Holmes Racing and Felicity Mendoza, because that was a flat-out great performance. Even when it came to pit road, they didn't lose much time. Although they were behind the 75 coming out of the full pit strategy, they still were able to get around them. So hats off to that number 32 team. Just a great overall performance, and that's going to set them up quite nice in the standings now after this race.
Absolutely. The points are still fairly tight throughout the grid, and that's going to really help that 32 team, and that's going to help Casimiro as well. He's 18th in the point standing, so he's going to move up here, and you know, it's not a rain series without having to talk about local wins in 2025. This will be his third top 10, his first top 5, and unfortunately with Sam Deal not being able to make it on field, that was odd, but it's looking like it will probably be Logan Williams going into Oswego Dirt as the point leader. Williamson with a great top 4-1, and then Hernandez in third. What a race here at the Glen. Tell you guys I love this road course, and what a way to kick off this northeast swing of Watkins Glen, Oswego, and Pocono. Whew. What a race.
Yeah, that was honestly a great one, and unfortunately for that number 99, we're not able to make it to the end, but I mean, just great performances from a lot of people in this race. So we saw a couple drivers drive their way up through, drive their way up to the front here. But man, it was great racing by. I mean, that lunge by Ryan Durrani there, that was amazing to see him get that move off on the number 45 of Matthew Burnett, who's going to finish outside the top 10 after running pretty solid for most of the race. But looks like they just did not quite get what they wanted coming out of the pit cycle. But yeah, like I said, great racing from everybody. A lot of guys were super close, but we saw quite a bit passing for Watkins Glen. We saw quite a bit passing. But yeah, there was a lot of hungry drivers here today. You could definitely tell that, especially starting off this northeast swing. This is where the real season starts. A little bit of interesting races when we start off this northeast swing. We have Watkins Glen here, a road course. Then we have Oswego, a dirt race, and then we go to Pocono, which I mean, it's hard to describe what Pocono is. It's just Pocono, the tricky triangle. So just what a start here to, like you said, the real stretch of the season.
Absolutely. Mendoza gets the race win. Great job from Holmes Racing and Leonard Kochman. Not surprised about that one bit. Leonard Kochman, a very good owner in the JBL Cup Series this season. He gets himself a win early on here in the Truck Series. Kochman a close second. Almost thought it was going to be a repeat of what we saw in the National Series race and have a full finish at the line. And Hernandez in third. Williamson in fourth. Logan Williams in fifth. Wine, another great speed truck, and honestly that's kind of what I think could have happened at Charlotte for him last week if he didn't get wet. Watson with a sneaky top 10 and 7th. He's going to be up there in points as well with Logan Williams. Samson Messi in 8th. Shane Kane, great one from him. He was one of the first trucks that went down pit road, and he gets a top 10 out of it. And on the flip side, Robo Pound Jr. was one of the last trucks to go down pit road and gets 10th, so all kinds of different strategy here. Not really a lot of top offs, it's more or less a splash and go, but everyone had to pit on field, and it was really big on when you decide to go down pit road. Burnett, Fitzwater, Emily York Watson in 13th. Juan Garcia is going to be up there in the point standing still with the top 15-1. Angel Gutierrez out here in Speens. Casas, White, Vestigar, Warren, and Blight. Tough play for Blight, he was up front and gets 20th in this one. Sam Leo, he was going to get top 5. I guess he was not able to make it on fuel. And Avery Alford was basically on the tail end of the lead lap, and that's an odd one. It's not just a tire for Caleb Rose, there's a puncher, apparently. So that's a rare one for Caleb, and that's unfortunate for him. But what a wild race here at Watkins Glen. Honestly, there's some carnage and chaos throughout the field, but only one car out, and that was from not even an incident, and that was fortunately Caleb was having a puncher and a tire go down. But what's the final thoughts of a chaotic Watkins Glen race? Second place for the team, and how do you think Oswego Dirt is going to go here next week?
Yeah, that was just wow. But yeah, I don't know how that 13 even got back up there, but a great strategy call from that crew chief there, and overall, like you said, a great race. That 18 somehow was able to make it to 10th after that very late pit stop. But thank you for having me on, Nathan, and I'm excited to see how the rest of the season plays out.
Absolutely. 3 fantastic races: Daytona, Charlotte, and now Watkins Glen. And we gotta see how race 4 goes down back at Oswego next week. And that's gonna be a lot of fun for, I believe, a Powerade Zero Triple 250, I believe, in that one. And until then, congratulations to listening when those are on the race win. And we will see you guys next week for a busy weekend at Oswego Speedway, covered in clay.